Alright then, lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. I'm back with the transfer update. Welcome back from the watch along and welcome back for the match reaction. Make sure you do smash a like on those videos when you reach there, and smash a like on this one as well. So obviously, welcome back. We played Rangers in a boring game, 2-2. Of course, the good thing there is Nuno Tavares scored his debut goal for Arsenal. So it was really a classic one, really a classic goal. And I think you loved it, and I think I loved it as well. But as we were on the stream, Fabrizio Romano on his Instagram, here we go, gave us a very big update, and we're gonna look at that. Please do smash a like on the video, please do subscribe to the channel. I want to thank everybody who's part of this journey. I mean, it really means a lot. It really means a lot when you guys actually, you know, support me, because I don't know, it's hilarious. So Fabrizio has been speaking about the deal with of Manuel Locatelli and the deal of Ben White, just like you can see on your screen, and it's given us a broader picture than the one we had in the morning, because in the morning it was basically Arsenal agreeing a deal with Brighton, 50 million pounds. That is it. But now Fabrizio has actually given us a bigger update, a bigger picture on what is going on between the two clubs, and actually says a deal is now finally agreed. We have a total agreement on the payment structure. We have a total agreement on the contract. We have a total agreement on absolutely everything. So we're gonna dive into that. And look at what is the broader picture of this deal. What are the things that have been agreed upon? There is claim that there is a sell-on clause on this deal. So we're also going to look at that. If there is a sell-on clause in this deal, what does it actually mean? Do smash a like on the video. My name is Cossy. I'll give you all the updates if you do subscribe. We are on the road to our first 50,000 subscribers. And look, it can never get better than that. Right, so let's get into it. Fabrizio Romano, and it says Ben White 6. I don't know why he calls him at what Ben. I think this is his official Instagram handle. Ben White 6. I think that is it. So it says at Ben White 6 will join Arsenal on a permanent deal. Agreement now confirmed, and here we go. Arsenal have completed the agreement to sign Ben White at 50 million pounds guaranteed fee to Brighton, contract until 2026. Medicals will be completed once Ben White will of course his English is not the best because it's Italian, but he's trying to say that medicals will be completed once Ben White comes back from the holidays after Euro 2020. The deal is done and first paperwork have been signed. Let that sink in. The deal is done and first paperworks have actually been signed. Ben White only wanted to join this line. Ben White only wanted to join Arsenal since first contact started weeks ago. Everton never made an official bid for Ben White. And I say this, guys, and I say this, we're gonna dive into that. We're gonna make sense of these we're gonna make sense of these blocks. So he says Arsenal planning to announce Sambi Lokonga in the next few days after total agreement reached with Anderlecht. Then Ben White, once medicals are completed, both deals are done. Gets in. It's a done deal, guys. It's a done deal. Total agreement. And basically, if you're asking me, Cossy, what is new about this deal? I'm giving you a bigger picture. The updates we didn't have in the morning, because in the morning we only had a price agreed, and then we spoke about the strength and weaknesses of a player. But now we are diving deeper into what actually has been agreed, and you can look at it in your screen. So let's try to make some sense of it. As it goes down, let us first speak about Manuel Locatelli, because it speaks about Locatelli as well. And it says Manuel Locatelli deal is still complicated as Italian midfielder priority is joining Juve. Arsenal are ready to match Sassuolo's price tag for Locatelli, offering 40 million euros, but Juventus are the front runners, and he wants to join Juve. There is still no agreement between Juventus and Sassuolo as of today. Hashtag Arsenal, hashtag AFC, hashtag Ben White, hashtag White, hashtag Lokonga, hashtag EPL, hashtag transfers, hashtag Arsenal AFC, and hashtag Brighton, and hashtag here we go. So guys, that is the man Fabrizio Romano. Look, there is no way. I was informed that to bring on Fabrizio Romano on the channel, it would cost us 1 million, close to 1 million. And look, there is no way I can reward this guy. At some point in time, we will bring him on and we'll have to pay that money. And I will personally, I will pay that money to bring this guy to you guys because he's hilarious. He's so good. So let's make sense of his statements and basically try to understand the situation at which we stand with Ben White, because many of you are gonna have started asking me, Cossy, where is Ben White? You said he has signed. This is what is happening. So at first he says Ben White will join Arsenal on a permanent deal. Agreement now confirmed, and here we go. And then he says Arsenal have completed the agreement to sign Ben White. Guaranteed fee to Brighton is 50 million. Contract until 2026. So the first thing now, is the price. We are very aware of the price is 50 million. What I don't understand, and I think I need more information on this. I'll try to get in touch with either Chris or either Chris Whitley or KK Nack and try to understand, are we paying 50 million for the guy, or we are paying 50 million as guaranteed payments? Because those are two different things. You could be paying 50 million in guaranteed payments, and then you have add-ons, and it could also be that you're paying 50 million and all the money is guaranteed payments. That is what I don't understand. Does this deal really have add-ons, or it's just 50 million? But according to Fabrizio, he says 50 million in guaranteed payments is the guaranteed fee that Brighton will get. And when you have a guaranteed payment, when you have a guaranteed fee in a transfer, basically the word guaranteed means there is something like add-ons. There are things like I think called incentives, add-ons, future payments if a player does well, if you qualify for Champions League, if your player becomes a Ballon d'Or winner. I think those clauses must also have been included in the contract. So he also says that medicals will be completed once White comes back from holidays after the Euros. Comes back from holidays after Euro 2020. The deal is done and first paperwork have been signed. So what he actually means there is the player will join us after his holiday, because all England national team players that took part in the Euros were given a break of 3 good weeks. So they were given a break of 3 weeks off, absolutely 3 weeks off, just enjoying, chilling, and whatever whatever you think about. 3 weeks just resting. So I've seen a couple of reports as well indicating that Ben White would be interested in actually cutting his holiday short in order to come and do his medicals and join up with Arsenal. That is not confirmed anywhere, but I've seen the rumors and I would love to let you know about them as well. So Fabrizio also says Ben White only wanted to join Arsenal since the first contacts were made weeks ago. Everton never made an official bid for Ben White. The Evening Standard, get in the bin. Evening Standard, get in the bin, because it was the was it the Evening Standard? I don't want to get it wrong. Yeah, I think they were the Evening Standard. It was the Evening Standard that actually said, no, it was not this Evening Standard, it was the Sports Mail. It was the Mail, right? It was the Mail. It was the Mail. So the Mail, get in the bin, and apologies to the Evening Standard, because I've not really found I had a couple of issues with them. But the Mail, they actually reported first that Manchester United were interested in Ben White because the Rafael Varane deal is not easy to do. Then still they reported that Chelsea have now entered the Ben White deal, and now they reported that Everton entered the Ben White deal as well. Fabrizio has made it clear the player wanted to join Arsenal ever since first contacts were made, and what is even more interesting, Everton have never made an official bid, because according to the Mail, if you still remember when I did that story, the Mail said that Everton had put on table 50 million plus 5 million euros in add-ons plus a sell-on clause and the player was flabbergasted by the speed at which they were moving on. That is what they said. And you remember when I said it, I said I don't think players are moved by the speed of a deal. I think they're more moved by other things that are more attractive than that. So Fabrizio says there was never an official bid from Brighton for Ben White. Getting the bid, the sports mail. Right. So he also says Arsenal are planning to announce Sambi Lokonga in the next few days after total agreement with Anderlecht. Then Ben White will be announced once the medicals are completed. Both deals are done. I won't really comment on that. So let's talk about Manuel Locatelli for a minute, because he also gives us a very interesting Manuel Locatelli update, despite the fact that we have had so many of them on in the past 48 hours. So he says Manuel Locatelli is still complicated as Italy midfielder priority is to join Juve. Arsenal are ready to match Sassuolo's price tag, which is around 40 million euros, but Juventus are still front runners as he wants to join Juve. So really, what I like about Fabrizio, and this is why I really put him as my first journalist. However, the fact that he's in Italy, and there are so many journalists based in England. The reason that's why I love him is so consistent. If you look at his past 2 or 3 posts about Manuel Locatelli and this one, he's so consistent. Now he's reporting about the bid, and he's not actually exaggerating it to an extent that Arsenal put in an official bid, but he says we are ready to meet the 40 million euro valuation of Sassuolo in the player. Juve are still front runners. I've spoken about that. I said Juve do still have the priority to get in the player, and he actually says that there is no agreement as for now between Juve and Sassuolo. And we've talked about this in the morning, and said Locatelli actually. There is a Locatelli meeting going on, and Juve speak trash and they're chased out of the meeting. I spoke about that. A new meeting is scheduled between Sassuolo and Juve to see if they can find an agreement. The initial offer Juventus are offering is an initial 2 loan deal for the player, and then an obligation to buy the player for around 27 million pounds after that, after the 2 years. Sorry for that. Then Arsenal are proposing 40 million euros, which is around 32 to 35 million pounds, payable in 1 year, payable in 1 season. So there is no way Arsenal are gonna beat Juventus are gonna beat us when it comes to Manuel Locatelli and how good the deals are structured. It's only going to be the fact that Juve. The player wants Juve, and Juve are the big, are the big fish in Italy. That is gonna be the only reason we lose that deal. So that is the update from Fabrizio Romano. I'll speak to you very, very soon. Love you. Make sure you do smash a like on the video. Let's get them to 300 likes as usual, and I'll be back with at least 1 more upload today, and I'll call it a day. Good night.